Hi, welcome to my final presentation. My name is Francisco Franco. I'm a fourth year computer science major with a focus in software engineering. I've chosen to do my presentation on social engineering. I think it is one of those powerful offensive methods that happen a lot, but many people overlook. Social engineering interests me because at the end of the day, the weakest link in the security chain is a human who lets an intruder in regardless of all the flashy software or break-in preventions one may have in place. So, what is social engineering? Social engineering is the art of manipulating human psychology to compromise a person in order to gain access to their information. Social engineering is essentially made up of malicious activities through human interaction. Most social engineering attacks happen in multiple steps. An attacker would first investigate its intended victim to gather background information. Then they would use that background information to gain access to the victim's sensitive information. So let's talk about some of the popular social engineering methods. First is pretexting. So pretexting is the process of manufacturing a believable story or scenario to initiate a scam. During pretexting, an attacker obtains information through lies and tricks. The scam is usually started by attempting to establish trust and manipulating human emotions. The attacker eventually uses this story to try and obtain information such as passwords, social security numbers, etc. Next is one of the most popular social engineering attacks, phishing and spear phishing. First, let's talk about phishing. Phishing scams are typically email or text messages that are aimed at instilling fear into victims. This drives the victims into clicking dangerous links or giving out sensitive information or opening attachments that may have malware. I want to give some examples of this. So one example would be now in the times of coronavirus, an email from the IRS. Imagine an email from the IRS saying that your stimulus check is ready. They just need some information such as your credit card to deposit that to and social security number. Well, that's obviously fake because the IRS handles all that without you needing to do that, and that's an example of a scam. Another one would be for a phishing scam. Another example would be, for example, people that play video games. Say you play a video game and you get a link in an email saying that you need to change your password because it's been compromised, and it sends you to a link to change your password. But in reality, that's not actually the video games. It's a website cloned to look like the video game, so it steals on your all your information and your account information. So, on the same spectrum, spear phishing is a version of phishing which is more targeted toward a specific audience. This could be job positions, known contacts, or just in general personality traits. So that's enough about that. So let's move on to baiting. Baiting consists of leaving malicious devices in an area or even online for someone to pick up and infect themselves with. Baiting baiting thrives on the curiosity of the victim. They get lured into a trap that steals their information. An example of baiting could be someone leaving a USB at the UCF library and someone eventually grabbing it. That person that grabbed it would then input it into their system and unknowingly infect themselves. This could also be in the form of an online form or ad that leads to malicious sites. Finally, let's talk about scareware. Scareware involves having victims bombarded by false threats such as pop-up banners or new tabs. Scareware could be a pop-up banner saying that you have a virus and should download a certain program, but in reality, that program is some sort of malware that would just infect your computer. Scareware can also be spread through fake emails or spam text messages, which links or downloadable attachments. So, what could a social engineering attack look like? A social media attack could be in the form of many things, but here are two of the very common ones. On the left, we can see a fake login page to Facebook. This could come up on Google and you click on it thinking it's Facebook, but in reality it's just a clone of Facebook that wants you to input your credentials, and once you click login, it sends it to whoever created this website, and now they have all your credentials. It's a scam. So the second one would be on the right, which is a Netflix example. It's an email for Netflix saying that they need to update your MasterCard payment details directly through this email. That's really suspicious because the Netflix works through their website on the account. So this is clearly a scam wanting to get your card information. So what is the problem with social engineering? Well, since social engineering relies on human error, it is really hard to prevent and predict. Even with the most advanced anti-hacking tech, all it takes is for someone to get lured into unwillingly leaking sensitive information. Social engineers are the modern day con artists that manipulate and steal without even leaving their houses. Now I want to talk about some famous social engineering attacks that really stand out. So the first one happened to Sony in 2014. Some North Korean hackers successfully launched a phishing attack on Sony Pictures, which caused substantial financial losses. Another one would be in 2015. Ubiquiti, a manufacturer of Wi Fi hardware and software, found out of a fraud scheme which involved employee impersonation. Can you imagine the amount of things that got stolen? Whew. Alright, well, last but definitely not least is Yahoo. In 2013, a Yahoo engineer fell for a spear phishing message that compromised every single customer account at Yahoo. 3 billion accounts. Ouch. So, enough of bad news. Let's talk about solutions and preventions. So, one of the best ways to prevent social engineering attacks is to simply be alert and careful on the web. Through the following precautions, you can substantially lower your chances of being a victim to a social engineering attack. So, number one, let's set spam filters in emails. This lowers the chances of receiving and clicking on a dangerous attachment. Two, slow down. Pay attention to links that are being clicked and where they lead. Three, discard suspicious emails immediately and block the sender. Four, use multi factor authentication. This helps protect your information even in the case of a compromise. Five, be very careful with offers that seem too good to be true or just perfect. Most of the time, these come from unlicensed companies or just random people and turn out to be scams. So practical implications. Who could this happen to? Well, social engineering attack could really happen to anyone that uses the internet. But some of the following are most of the sought after victims. For example, the head of companies, CEOs, CFOs, or corporate executives get targeted to send out some money for their company because their company is in danger or something along those lines. Another target could be family members of someone that's important or just in general a family member. Imagine an attacker reaches out to your family saying that you're in danger and that they need to send them money and able to save you, but that's not true, and your family just sent their money for nothing. Three would be non-tech savvy people. This is really big, and it happens to a lot of people that don't know their way around the internet. They just click on links not knowingly and infect themselves without doing it on purpose. So, to conclude, although social engineering doesn't really require physical hacking into a network, it involves hacking the human network, the brain, and that's huge. This is what makes it so powerful and obscure. Social engineering attacks can take many forms and are difficult to predict because of this. Despite the dangers involved with social engineering, there are simple precautions ranging from email filters to multi factor authentications which we can take to stay safe. Thank you for your time and have a great rest of your day.